Hello, good morning or good afternoon, or indeed good evening, wherever you're watching this from, and whenever you're watching this. I just wanted to share something with you about the World Cup that at the time of recording is happening in just a few days' time, kicking off in the Western Hemisphere. So we're going to go through some predictions and some probabilities of the matches in the group stages, and we'll have a look at who is a likely winner of the 2026 World Cup. I've taken all of the betting odds for each World Cup fixture in the group stages, of course the fixtures that we know of and that are certain and that will be happening from next week. I've taken the betting odds and I've converted them into what is called implied probability. So essentially we have the likelihood for a win condition for each team that are playing against each other, and a draw condition for the very same match. Now what I've done, I've extrapolated those probabilities based on how much they are in one team's favour and how weighted they are towards one team or not at all, and I've converted those into win margins, essentially into goal difference. So, for example, here you can see Switzerland, Qatar. Switzerland have a 78% chance of winning, according to the betting odds. So I've said, well, that would be 50%, 60%, 70%, almost 80%. So we'll call it 4 goals. With a margin of 3 goals in that. So what I'll do, I'll go through all of the matches that we have. 72 matches, of course, so 48 teams in this World Cup, up from 36 or 32 in fact, I think, in previous World Cups. So let's go through one by one. First off, Mexico 3, South Africa 1. That shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Mexico are a host nation and they are a superior team in every way. South Korea, Czech. Now this is a draw, which may be surprising to some, as South Korea probably have a better team on paper and historically have done better in the World Cup in recent years. But Czech has some good players. I mean, you have Souček, who is particularly strong at the moment. Canada 2, Bosnia 1. Again, no surprises there. Canada is a host nation. USA, Paraguay 1-1. Qatar, Switzerland. As we just saw, that's 1 Qatar, 4 Switzerland. That should be a very one-sided match. Now Brazil 2, Morocco 1. This is a closer match. Morocco having done very well in the last World Cup and with some very good players. Hakimi, the standout one, as well as the goalkeeper Bono. Haiti 2, Scotland 4. This will give Scotland a lot of hope going into the final 2 matches of their group. Australia 1, don't quite manage to edge it into a draw, but Turkey win that 2-1. Germany 6, Curacao 1. So this will be certainly a lot of goals coming into any match against Curacao or Soracao. I'm not exactly sure how you say that, I'm afraid. And the Netherlands versus Japan. It looks like this will be a 1-1 draw, according to the odds. Again, Japan have a strong team, and of course we all remember the famous upset in the last World Cup. The Netherlands also have a strong team, but it looks like there will be a draw between these two nations. Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast, drawing with Ecuador. Again, these are I would say two dark horses coming into this, both with very good defences, especially Ecuador's. You've got Moises Caicedo in there. Sweden, Tunisia, 1-1 again. Spain, Cape Verde, 5-1. Just like Curacao, Cape Verde, another tiny country, can't really expect to do anything against one of the giants like Spain. Belgium 2, Egypt 1. Quite a close scoreline there, but Egypt again are one of the better African nations. Saudi Arabia 1, Uruguay 3, no surprises there. Iran 2, New Zealand 1. New Zealand another minnow within this World Cup. France 3, Senegal 1, no surprises there. Iraq 1, Norway 4. Norway looking very strong with a whole range of good players in that. You've got Haaland, you've got Odegaard, and Iraq doesn't really have anything to give them much hope, if we'll be honest. Argentina, one of the favourites and the holders of the World Cup, 3, Algeria 1. Austria 4, Jordan 1. Portugal, another favourite you have to say, versus DR Congo, 4-1. And here are England versus Croatia, which historically, as we remember going back to the 2018 World Cup, has been a tough fixture, but it looks like England will be able to pass Croatia when it comes to their match. Uzbekistan versus Colombia. Uzbekistan, one of the lower rated teams again. Colombia should win that 3-1. Ghana drawing with Panama. It's quite an interesting tie. I would personally, and the odds do say that Ghana could well win that. They are the favourites going into that match, but nonetheless the odds may allow a draw for Panama with Ghana. Czech versus South Africa, 1-1. Switzerland versus Bosnia, 2-1 Switzerland. Canada beats Qatar, 4-1. Mexico beats South Korea, 2-1. That will be perhaps a closer game than the odds suggest, although a 2-1 scoreline is of course just one goal difference. That is close. The USA versus Australia, 2-1 again. Scotland, Morocco. Scotland will be, I would say, happy with a 1-1 draw against Morocco, especially with the win earlier in the group. Brazil beats Haiti 5-1. That'll be one of the most one-sided matches in the tournament. At least on paper it will be, but we know the World Cup can surprise. Turkey draw with Paraguay, 1-1. The Netherlands beat Sweden 2-1. That, again, may be a close game. Germany beat Ivory Coast 3-1. Now, because of the friendly we had a few days ago, this could go the other way. But this is the actual tournament, not a friendly. So, Ecuador beating Curacao 5-1. Another absolute one-sided domination on paper. Tunisia lose to Japan 2-1. Spain beating Saudi 5-1 is not a surprise to anyone. Belgium beats Iran 3-1. And Uruguay beat Cape Verde 3-1. Now New Zealand, they're not going to get a win in this tournament, according to the odds. But they do have Tim Payne, so he is the GOAT. And they will get beaten by Egypt by 2-1. Argentina beat Austria by 2-1. We wouldn't be surprised if the scoreline is a little more edging towards Argentina winning by 2 or 3 goals. France beat Iraq 5-1. There is France's, let's say, easy farmers game. Norway and Senegal drawing 1 goal apiece. And Algeria beat Jordan 3-1. Portugal and Uzbekistan have a very closely fought match, but Portugal win 4-1. And England beating Ghana 4-1, I think a lot of us would say this will be a lot tougher and a lot closer when we actually get there. Now, the implied odds are only 8% in favour of Ghana winning the match. If I was going to predict this without looking at the odds, I would have said I don't know, I would have given Ghana 25%, 30% chance of winning, and England maybe 40% chance of winning, and a draw making up the rest of that. So this is quite a surprising one. Croatia beat Panama 3-1, and Colombia beat Dr. Congo, or DR Congo, 3-1 as well. Switzerland and Canada draw. That's probably a very even matchup, actually, thinking about it, especially with the Canada home advantage. Let's give them that, as it's their World Cup or joint World Cup, and Switzerland and Switzerland having a slightly stronger team. Bosnia beat Qatar 4-2, and Brazil beat Scotland 3-1. Now that'll be a fun game for the Scots, I'm sure, but a very tough one. Morocco beats Haiti 4-1. Sorry, Haiti, not getting a win here. And South Korea and South Africa draw it out at 1-1. Again, quite a close match, but South Korea will have the edge if anyone does. Czech lose to Mexico 2-1, and Ecuador lose to Germany 2-1. Again, Ecuador, I would put a slight hedge on that they may do better than expected. Ivory Coast beat Curacao 4-1. I'm sure that will happen. And Japan and Sweden draw at 1-1. Netherlands beat Tunisia 3-1. Paraguay, Australia 1-1. Turkey versus the USA. That's a 1-1 match. And actually, that'll be a great one because, as we said before, like Canada versus Switzerland, the USA has the home advantage. They also have some good players. Turkey perhaps a slightly better team, and two absolute stand-up players, Kenan Yildiz and Arda Güler. But that'll be a very good match. That'll be brilliant to watch. France beat Norway 2-1. Again, a very good match. Actually, that'll be a fun one to watch. Senegal beat Iraq 3-1. Spain beat Uruguay 2-1. Cape Verde versus Saudi 1-1. This may be the battle of the dropouts, let's say, from the group stages, but you never know. Egypt versus Iran 1-1. Two North African, Middle Eastern countries fighting it out. And Belgium beat New Zealand 4-1. So New Zealand will not be winning a match according to these predictions. England also beat Panama by 4-1, and Croatia beat Ghana 2-1. Dr. Congo, Uzbekistan 1-1. Colombia, Portugal 1-1. That may be a surprise to some with Portugal there. Argentina smashing Jordan by 5-1. And Algeria versus Austria is a 1-1 draw. So that is all the predictions according to the betting odds that I have worked out. Let's see what the group standings look like. So this is according to all of those predictions we went through, the results and the scorelines feeding into the points and goal differences we see here. So again, I mean, because it is the betting odds, all of the favourite teams on paper are the ones that are winning the groups. But the interesting part is looking at especially the groups that go through via goal difference. So in this new World Cup format, out of the 12 different groups, first place and second place go through, and then depending on goal difference, the third place teams battle it out. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 12 of the third place teams going into that round of 32. So it all depends on if you are a third place team and you don't have a terrible goal difference, you will likely go through. That's essentially what we're saying here. So if we just go through them quickly, we have Mexico and Czech winning Group A, and then South Korea are going through just on 2 points. So they're just going through on 2 points. I think they drew 2 games in our predictions. In fact, they must have. Group B, Canada and Switzerland go through. And Bosnia also go through as a third place team. Group C, Brazil and Morocco are the 2 winners there, respectively. And Scotland, as a Welshman myself, but certainly as a Brit, I'm happy to say that Scotland will go through to the round of 32. Now we have Turkey actually winning the group there, and the USA coming second place in Group D. Paraguay go through on goal difference. Germany win Group E with Ecuador coming second, and the Ivory Coast coming third and going through to the knockout stages. The Netherlands win Group F. Japan comes second, and look, here you go, Sweden. If all our predictions were true, then Sweden would just miss out on... Well, here we have, interestingly, goal difference is -1. South Korea's goal difference is -1. And in fact, they have the same goals scored and conceded. So I'm not exactly sure what happens in this technicality. I'm sure there is a precedent for that. But anyway, my system has put through South Korea, so we'll go with that. Belgium win Group G. Egypt comes second place. Iran go through to the knockouts. Spain win Group H. Uruguay comes second. Cape Verde's will not be going through, and that won't be a surprise to anyone, unfortunately for them. France win Group I. Norway comes second, and Senegal go through as a third place qualifier. Argentina, the holders, win Group J. Austria comes second place, and Algeria go through. Portugal win Group K. Colombia comes second place, and DR Congo will not qualify as a third place team. England win Group L. Croatia do come second, and here you go, Ghana apparently won't even qualify. Now, I'll be surprised that all of these predictions, if all of these predictions do come true, but you do look at teams like Ghana, you would have thought Ghana, Sweden would go through, and teams like Algeria, Bosnia, Paraguay, Scotland maybe fighting that third place out. So it'll be very interesting. It's almost like a relegation battle in the Premier League, where you're sort of looking at the teams that are staying up, or a championship playoff race where you're looking at the teams who will finish in the top 6 or top 8 next year. They're changing the rules for that. Okay, so it looks like we have the predicted teams going into the round of 32. And what we'll do, we'll just for fun go through the round of 32 matches, and we'll do a little prediction, as we don't have any betting odds for these matches yet, but we can certainly go through and see what the pathway to the final will be and what 2 teams we end up with. So, starting with Mexico versus the Ivory Coast. This will be a tough one. I think Ivory Coast have a particularly good defense at the moment. They're a team which has so many iconic players. I mean, I'm just thinking back to, as a Chelsea fan myself, I'm thinking back to the days of Didier Drogba. So I have a real affinity with the country in that respect. Mexico also have a good team, and they are a host nation. So I think I'm going to go with Mexico for this one. Now, who's going to play them? Will it be Czech? Will it be Switzerland? This is an interesting one. Switzerland always do quite well in knockout tournaments. They seem to, in recent years, be a consistent round of 16 team. So I think I will go with Switzerland. Canada, Scotland. These are good matches, actually. These are all quite closely aligned, I have to say, when it comes to rankings. Scotland or Canada? The host nation versus the first time World Cup in what, 28 years, 26 years, whatever it was. I'm going to go with Scotland, I think. Brazil, Japan. Sorry, Japan. Brazil are winning that. Turkey, Algeria. I think I have to go with Turkey. With those two stars playing and quite a solid Turkish squad, I will go with Turkey. USA versus Egypt. I think the USA will edge that one. Germany, Senegal. Senegal do have some good players. They do have some good attackers. They do have some good players on the field. But I think you have to go with Germany. The 4 times winners of the World Cup. Ecuador, Norway. Wow. That's a tough one. Ecuador, a more defensive team. Norway, a more attacking team. Perhaps solely due to Erling Haaland. But nonetheless, I think that defense can prove victorious here. So Ecuador are going to win that. So Netherlands versus Morocco. That is a great match. Quite a tough one. I think having seen Morocco get to the semi-finals of the last World Cup, you may be leaning towards Morocco, but I would say that the Netherlands do have, yet again, as they have in the last couple of decades, a very good squad. And I think they will get through here, but it will be a close one. I would not be surprised if we see this go the distance to penalties. Belgium, Bosnia. Although some say that Belgium is not the team it was just a few years ago, with the aging players, with Lukaku, with De Bruyne, with Tielemans not being at the same level, and let's be honest, same youth as they were before, they will be able to beat Bosnia, I'm sure. Spain will beat Austria. This should be quite a straightforward one, I imagine. France versus Iran. Again, you have to go with France. A local South American derby. Uruguay versus Argentina. I bet the atmosphere will be good for this. But the atmosphere of Argentina's team will surpass that of Uruguay's. Portugal, Paraguay. You have to go with Portugal here. And I'm already looking at that round of 16. Wow. Colombia, Croatia. This could be an interesting one. I mean, Croatia are not the same team as they were, like Belgium, of a few years back. Modric is, I believe, 40. He will be playing. You know, I'm going to go Colombia. I just think that South American energy also being played on that side of the hemisphere will do them some wonders. So I'm going to go with a slight shock here. I'm sure Croatia would be the favourites. So I'll go Colombia. England, South Korea. Do I do it? Do I say South Korea? Is this where we get knocked out? No. England win. Okay. So let's, for fun again, let's go through the round of 16s that we have plotted out. Mexico versus Switzerland. Who will win this? Again, I think this is quite a close matchup, but I will go Mexico. Scotland versus Brazil. This may be where the journey ends for we Scotland. Brazil are winning that. Turkey versus the USA. Ooh, it would be fun to see the USA go through as a host nation, but Turkey have a huge opportunity here. Will they go through? They should go through. They should be the favourites in this potential matchup. But I do think The USA may have some momentum on their side with the whole home nation. I know I banged on about the home nation advantage, but I think it will be quite big in this tournament, as you have those three different countries: Mexico, USA, Canada. Large countries, remember, these are large populations, so you have a lot of fans and you will have a lot of energy. Germany, Ecuador. Germany should win this. Ecuador, I just feel like they will surprise and surprise throughout this tournament. So I'm going to go Ecuador. They did very well in the qualifiers. So that is actually a bit of a shock. Netherlands versus Belgium. I think Netherlands have a better team. It'll be a close one. But I think as a team together, not even as individuals, the Netherlands are more stable and should win that. Wow. Round of 16, really, this could be the final. Spain versus France. I just think that France have the superior players in nearly every position. Spain may have a better team when you add them all up, but France have the star quality, and I cannot see them losing to Spain. But this could go either way. I'll say France, as much as I don't want to. And again, this is not fair. Argentina versus Portugal. We should not be seeing this at the round of 16, but nonetheless, perhaps it would be better to see them play against each other than not at all. This really is Messi versus Ronaldo. And I think that, this would just be such an amazing match to watch. You probably have to go with Argentina. But Portugal could. They really could shock here. And finally, Colombia versus England. Slightly easier than playing France, Spain, Argentina or Portugal. So you have to say that England are fortunate with this matchup. Won't be easy, but again, England will win that matchup if it actually happens. Okay, so now we have 4 quarterfinals. That was easy. Mexico, Brazil, South American derby again. I think you just have to go Brazil, without a doubt. 5 times winners. USA versus Ecuador. This is where USA's run comes to an end, and Ecuador will go through to the semi-finals of the World Cup. The Netherlands versus France. France are going to win that. This will be much easier than playing Spain. But Netherlands, we've seen them go far before. And Argentina versus England. Wow. Can England really beat Argentina? Can they beat the holders? Can they beat a team with Messi playing, with Enzo Fernandez on the pitch, with Julian Alvarez playing up front? Can you beat that team? I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. With the support of the Argentine fans, no chance. Sorry, England. So, let's see what these semi-finals are looking like. Brazil, Ecuador. If Ecuador are going to be that dark horse, they've done very well to get here. But you're going to go Brazil every time. France, Argentina. A repeat of the 2022 World Cup. I think this time France win. And Brazil, France are going to win that. I see France as the favourites going to this World Cup. And although if you have a look at the knockout chart that we've gone through, they have to get past Spain, they have to get past the Netherlands, they have to get past Argentina, and they have to beat Brazil to win this. So although I think France are the favourites, that is a lot of large, very large stumbling blocks. So I would not be surprised if at some point they fall. It's a knockout tournament. It can happen. It can happen very easily. And at any point, a Spain could get through to the final and win. And Argentina could get through to the final and win. Or Brazil. We know how Brazil love the World Cup. Haven't done well in recent tournaments, but this may be their year. This may be their year. They do have a lot of good players. They do have a lot of good players. Okay, so that is my prediction for the World Cup. France will win based on the odds, the current odds for all of the 72 group matches that we went through, which we know that betting odds are never going to be right, but in most cases they will tend towards the outcome. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and or listening, and I look forward to watching the World Cup.